Greetings and welcome once more to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and this is our short campaign of Urban Shadows, Lex Talionis, an urban fantasy game that's powered by the apocalypse and set in modern-day Rome, Italy. We are going to go around and say hi to everyone, find out who they are and who they're playing. Unfortunately, we have lost Katie to real life. Sadly, she's not going to be able to continue. But we hope in our heart of hearts that she's doing well and we'll be able to play with her again at some point in the future. But in the meantime, let us go ahead and go around and say hi. And we shall start with Alyssa. Hello.
Hello! It is I, Alyssa, or Xander Slamilton. I am playing Manny, the Fae. Both of us use she, her pronouns, and I'm really excited to be back for this. Because I think we're going to get into some high fashion.
It's entirely possible. It is entirely possible. And sometimes I wonder, what is the best thing to be wearing when fighting a demon? And perhaps we're going to find out shortly. As we're now going to move on to our...
So many answers to that question that I think are probably not what I should say.
That's probably...
I think the answer I'm supposed to say is Versace, but I don't think that's the answer I'm going with first.
I don't know. Well, terms of service. That's the only thing I suggest to keep in mind. Anyway.
I wasn't saying anything like that. I was just trying to say,
true.
I don't know, a comfy sweater or some shoes that you don't mind if they get messed up, and I don't know, cargo pants maybe for extra weapons.
I mean, that would be good. That would be practical.
But it's the high fashion episode, see, so...
It's true. We are getting there. We are getting there. And that's the funny thing is that at least one of those is going to be wearing a a suit from your shop. So it's whatever the brand name for that is, which I've got the name of the store in front of me somewhere, but I got to pull it up. We named it something Italian, therefore something I can't remember.
It's escaping my head too.
Il logo della tutta. There it is. So that's it. I feel it's just like their symbol is something like it's like an ILDT or something, maybe like that, something like that. But in the meantime, let us head over to Lynn. Hello.
Hey, you guys be back. I'm Lynn, and I'm playing Mallory, the Tainted. We're both she, her, and I don't think she's gonna be wearing one of two suits. Most likely she's to be wearing the demonic blood of the shithead who stole it. So here we go.
There we go. I mean, you know what? Go simple if you possibly can. That's always good. All right, excellent. And now let us head over to Sara. Hello.
Hello, I am Sara. I use she, they pronouns. I am playing Kai the Oracle. Kai uses they, them. Kai is having an information overload nap right now from last session. So that's where they're at in life.
So many things.
I just need to turn off and on again.
What do you want more than anything in the world? The answer to that is an off switch.
Yes.
I hear ya. Well, like we do with other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. So if we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, or hold up a card, and we'll back up and we'll do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it, and when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to make sure everyone's doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break, for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, a few content warnings. This game may include supernatural elements, corruption, debt, intimacy, crime, horror tropes, noir tropes, mild sexual content, and elements of the history of Rome. At any time, you can type !CW, which I shall do now, in the chat window. to see that. And that command also has a link to the content warnings for the game in a little more detail, so you can look at that whenever you need to. Also, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if you need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So now, there is a recap. Which I shall begin. And see. We'll see how long this one takes to read. Hang on, let me clear my lungs first real quick. I'm the only person I know who takes liquid in to clear the lungs, but well, who knows. Anyway, hitherto on Lex Talionis, Kai, Manny, and Mallory tried to sort out the images in the visions Kai had received that day. As they were discussing Apollo, which featured heavily in one of them, Mallory realized that she had previously run into one of the members of a group called the Warriors of Apollo a few weeks ago, but hadn't fully appreciated their connections to everything until that moment. She had gotten the names of two other cult-like groups from them, the Circle of Delphi and the Watchers of Theodosius. Needing more information, Kai contacted their friend and former mentor magic-using fortune teller named Amalia. Amalia didn't want to speak about sensitive matters over the phone, so she came to Kai's apartment. There, after asking everyone there to turn off their cell phones, Amalia told them the three cults they were discussing all revolved around the Pythia, the original Delphic oracle. She revealed that the Pythia was in fact not really a person, but a divine mantle that has passed from person to person throughout history. Amalia believed the previous Pythia, a woman named Lena, who was rumored to have been held in captivity for decades by the Watchers of Theodosius, must have died within the past couple of months, because both the Watchers and the Warriors of Apollo were on the move. At one point, Manny used her Fey magic to remove a headache Kai was developing, and in so doing discovered there was something different about Kai's energy, as though there was a strange presence about them. Amalia used her abilities as a seer to look Kai over and realized quickly that Kai was indeed the new Pythia. Amalia advised Kai to seek out the Circle of Delphi, who might have more information. When asked why they'd had to turn their phones off for the preceding conversation, Amalia advised the group that the demon known as Miss Vex, a rival of Mr. Sharp, was circulating a new app called Vex Anima, and that Vex might be listening in. Upon checking her phone, Manny realized she did indeed have the app. As Amalia was leaving, the group asked her if she had seen the stolen suits made with demonic thread that Mallory was looking for. Upon describing them, Amalia said she'd seen the mercenary wizard Nicholas Voltaire wearing a suit matching one of the two descriptions earlier that day. Mallory then contacted her fence, Al Giordano, via text, and received a location from him for the one who had taken the suits, Al's own nephew, Antony. Mallory went after Antony, and after having to double back because Antony was apparently trying to give them the slip, she found him at Termini Station. There, in the middle of the station, she assumed her demon form, chased Antony down, and demanded to know where the suits were. Antony confirmed that he'd sold one, an emerald sharkskin suit, to Nicholas Voltaire that morning, and revealed that less than 20 minutes prior he'd traded the second suit, a burgundy pinstripe suit, to Miss Vex's tainted employee, Adrienne Legrand. Upon that reveal, a voice called out, and Mallory turned to see Adrienne there at the station, stepping forth from one of the kiosks, wearing the burgundy suit, and already in the process of changing into her own demon form. Meanwhile, Manny returned to her place above the tailor shop, where she saw the store's previous owner, the specter Giuseppe Falco, sitting and waiting for her. They discussed what details about Olympia Fortunato Giuseppe was permitted to share. Giuseppe revealed that he and Olympia had been in a relationship back in the 1950s and 60s, and that the two of them had a child. But because of the danger inherent in Olympia's existence, what precisely that existence was, Giuseppe had promised not to say, for the good of the baby, they chose to part ways. This meant that Olympia was the grandmother of Manny's business partner, Gina. Manny promised Giuseppe that she would not reveal this information to Gina, but Giuseppe still feared that Olympia's recent business offer to Gina to trade merchandise with Versace, where Olympia works, meant that Olympia had decided to bring her granddaughter into her own dangerous world. At that point, Giuseppe disappeared because Manny's boyfriend Tom had arrived. Manny revealed to Tom that she was a fae, and that the supernatural was real. Tom, while surprised, didn't seem too taken aback, as he himself believed he had been in contact with an angel from time to time. But upon mentioning Tom's missing friends, Tom told Manny he'd discovered through his travel contacts that the limousine he'd seen them getting into a couple of weeks ago was contracted by Versace. And so that is where we ended the episode. And I think as we return, we're going to have. I feel as though we have a fight brewing or something. Perhaps, I don't know. It could be a fight. We don't know. But as we zoom in, we're going to head over to Termini Station. Let me make sure I'm pulling up the appropriate things here, so that I can have the playbooks and the various moves in front of me, because I feel as though we might need them in a moment. As we're kind of zooming in to Termini Station, we see there it is largely empty, except for there were a number of patrons, unfortunately, those patrons that were there have kind of very quickly dived out of the way, run for cover, as you know, there's at least one demon in here, and now about to be two. We see that Adrienne Legrand has stepped out of a kiosk for Vex Anima that was there. She has thrown on the burgundy suit over her regular clothes, and immediately as she steps out is transforming. In the process, she's mid-transformation now. As you can see, the horns sprouting from her head. She has tan features, and brown eyes, which are turning to red. These black horns are spreading out. They're slightly curved. Black scales are appearing on her, on what parts of her skin are exposed. Because this suit is demon armor, it is transforming with her. So that it is maintaining. It looks more. The suit also changes in appearance to look more in line with the sort of being that it's on. It is so it is looking much more sort of harsh and leathery, but it still looks like a sort of a more fiery burgundy pinstripe that she has on, and she has basically, this is as Mallory was threatening the young lad, Anthony, who just wanted him to call Adrienne. But there Adrienne is. She hasn't left the station yet. So Mallory, you've turned and you've seen this. She's called you out. She's standing staring at you. She is mid-transformation. She is a bit of a ways down the in sort of the open, is it concourse? We'll use the word concourse for now, though it may not be the right one. What would you like to do?
First of all, I'm going to slam Anthony into the wall just to knock him out. Just as I move towards, just afterthought, just move. And then I'm just going to just fly closer to her.
Okay.
I suppose there's no way we're going to talk our way out of this, right?
So she is completing her transformation as you are heading. She's almost there. And she says to you, let me actually once again look at my spreadsheet so that I can remember what my little bullet points I had for this character, and how and what this character believes and thinks and feels. Okay. She looks at you, sort of cracks her neck, and says, You have taken enough from me. I think it was only right that I get something back. So I'd say it would be very kindness of me to call us even.
Yes, because certainly I'm going to take the rest from you. First bit of fun I've had today.
And she snarls, and you see these long claws growing out of her, growing out from her fingertips. And she sort of leans forward, and it looks like she's probably getting ready to lunge at you. What would you like to do?
You know what? This is what she's here for. This is... Mr. Sharp doesn't necessarily keep her around because she's a good talker, so let's... unleash. I'm gonna take that invitation, extend the wings and then speedily go for her.
All right, so you're lunging for her, and so as you are about to dive forward here, let's see, you're on unleashing. Let me just go back real quick to the. Let me go to the playbook so that I can have you in front of me here, or your abilities.
I think I still have the was it the flight?
Yeah, you picked flight. I think you picked. What was it? Demonic movement, demonic weapon. I think you also picked.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got. You had 3 things from the list, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
So you had those 2 things, and then the third thing was it armor or more harm?
I think it was armory because I didn't.
I think it was armor. Okay.
Because I wasn't previously harmed, so.
Okay. So you've got you're doing your normal amount of harm, but you have one. You're +1 armor. All right. So, do you want to go ahead then and unleash?
All right. Regular. All right. Let's do this. Let's see what this is.
Rolling with blood.
Blood. 8.
Okay. So, this means that on a hit, you inflict harm as established, and you choose one of the 2 things: inflict terrible harm or take something from them. And then on a 7 to 9, which is what you got, you also choose from the inflict harm on you, and you find yourself in a bad spot. So let's start with your harm.
Mm-hmm.
How much harm do you normally do?
In this form, let's see. The claws.
You've
3
got the
harm.
demonic weapon. 3 harm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can inflict terrible harm, and if you want, or you can take something from them. Which of those 2 do you want?
Terrible harm. I can take
Okay,
those.
so that'll be 4 harm,
Mm-hmm.
which might potentially take her out here. Ordinarily, if she were not wearing this suit.
Yes. I had a feeling that this suit.
And actually, she's a bit armored up. She chose the scales, so she's got a couple of points of armor on her right now. But yeah, you're gonna do some damage to her. Now on a 7 to 9, which is what you have to choose from they inflict harm on you, or you find yourself in a bad spot. So which of those 2 do you want?
Let's do bad spot. Let's see what that's like.
Okay.
We're in a train station. Like, there's a lot of options for bad spot.
Yes, there are. So, you lunge forward, you grab at her. What does it look like when you're doing the damage to her?
I think she's just trying. She is rather efficient when she comes to fight. So I think she's taking. But I think she wants to just take that head off that body, and she's just maybe just gets a good swipe in there.
You get a good swipe. You rake your claws across her neck, and
wait, I got a better thing. I think she wants
a
a thing where she wants to just rip off a horn and just stab her with it.
Ooh! Oh no, that's awesome. Yes. Okay. So
good old classic.
So you slam into her, drive her through the kiosk, and over toward the other side near near some near one of the other near some of the stairs going down, which sort of slams into the rail. As you snap off a horn, you drive it in. She's like, ah! As you do some damage, not quite penetrating the armor, but you hurt her. Definitely, you've snapped something in there, and she pulls back. But as you do it, she fast as lightning, because this is the thing. She is very fast. She very quickly flips back to sort of continuing the roll that you have, and rather almost Zephyr-like surges the two of you down these stairs, as you go all the way down and through and over, just sliding forward and down onto a set of tracks, where that you just passed the middle platform. It goes down onto the middle platform. You have more screaming and a few people running as they're getting onto a train on the other side, and you've tumbled over the edge of the platform and down in between these couple of tracks that are there, and you see that she's trying to. You are underneath her. She is trying to rear up to give you a very nasty. You see this bone spiking out from her elbow that the suit shifts around to accommodate. That she's probably getting ready to try to bring down on you. What would you like to do?
Wow. We're on the track, right?
You are on the tracks. Yes. There are trains. You don't see a light coming yet, but you hear one coming somewhere, so you don't have long. You know those things where it's like you're on the tracks, you're not sure which direction the train's going to come from? You're in that phase right now.
All right, I'm going to just start slamming her against the that middle rail.
Ah, yes! The third rail! Trying to get some delightful electricity coursing through everyone.
Yeah, just hit it with the...
Okay. So I believe we are. I guess we're unleashing again. If that is,
we're going. Yeah, there's not a lot of finesse happening here. There's not a lot of.
So you're gonna try to. Well, let me think here. So she's above you. I just want to check to see if you need an opening to do that, or if you're good, because that's one of the tricky things about this. Because you're in a bad spot. So, yeah, I think first we're going to need to get you reversed so that you can slam her down, if that's your objective here. So that might involve misleading her, or distracting her possibly to get her off you. So so as you're a little on the defensive right now. So how would you like to tackle that? Do you want to do a mislead first?
Let's...
To give yourself an opening to do that kind of move on her.
You know what? Let's do that.
Okay.
Let me just check
this
something.
Is mislead, distract, or trick. I think is probably the one we're looking for.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think also what she wants to do. She wants to use this train in some way. I think if possible.
Oh yes. Excellent. No, that's always a thing.
5.
Okay, so let's see. So she is not especially fooled by this, and she's going to jam down now. Oh yes, that's right. You quick note. Yes, so you are going to take 2 harm.
Okay.
As she jabs this, as she jabs this elbow spike into you, and that's minus any armor that you have.
Okay, so it's 1. So it's one harm.
Okay, so that's going to be a net of 1 harm. Where does she hit you?
Oh, let's just say in the upper chest area.
Okay.
Something like that. Really,
so, upper chest area. She drives down It's like
It's like, yeah, these are things that, like, yeah, if if we were people, we'd be dead.
yeah, oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So she pulls down the upper chest area, and she's getting ready to pull back up because she's got to dislodge herself from you after doing that move. So what would you like to do at this point? Now that you're sort of you're kind of she's got you almost not quite pinned. She chose to do damage to you. So you could still, there are a few maneuvers you could do here, or a move of some kind you could do here, as you're sort of now bleeding a bit, as your fiery blood surges slightly onto the tracks. There's a hissing sound as it comes out and pools beneath you. What would you like to do?
Ooh. So we're kind of like we're both up then, right?
Yeah. So you have a second if you want to, as she has to pull back for a second. So you're going to have a moment if you need to rise or do something.
Yeah. As she dislodges it, Mallory's just gonna grab her wrist.
Excellent.
You're fast, but you're fast. See if you can catch this train, and then she's just gonna fly her into the oncoming train.
Awesome. Okay, so I feel like it's time to unleash.
Yeah, she's probably gonna catch. It's probably it's probably a lot of like, what the hell? What kind of bullshit did you do down there? It's like, oh.
What is my weapon? My weapon is a train.
A train.
You can hear it coming. You can see the light coming. now down the tunnel.
Yeah.
This train making one stop on Adrian Legrand's face.
All right, let's see.
Okay, that's another 7 to 9. So that means so you will inflict harm as established. The amount of harm a train does is quite a bit, I would expect. So probably more on top of what you would normally do. What harm do you normally do?
3.
3? Okay.
Still
okay,
3.
just checking. So now you have a choice. You can inflict terrible harm, or take something from them. So which of those do you want to do?
I want the concerning what I'm about to do. I'm gonna want to take this, like, rip this suit.
Okay. Just so you're aware, what that means is that the train might not actually kill her.
You know what? Let's finish. You know what?
But you'll have the suit if you do that. So whichever one you want to do.
You know what? Mallory's real hot-headed, so she's gonna make sure that, like, she's. Oh God, she's just such like a thorn in her side. She hates her so much. And you know what?
Fire the vengeance.
I mean, it's a demonic suit. Like, it's on demon
it.
fire. It can take in her mind. It might not be true. It can take a train. Yeah, so she's going to. Yeah, she'll inflict harm. Yeah.
All right. Terrible harm it is indeed. But I need you also to choose one from the other list. They inflict harm on you, or you find yourself in a bad spot.
Mallory's gonna take some damage from this train. She wants her to make sure that she doesn't, like, because Adrian's, like, fast. Doesn't want to take the chance that she's just gonna, like, fly out, zip out of the way. So she's gonna just.
Okay, so you're gonna.
We're gonna sandwich each other with this train. I'm gonna sandwich you with this train.
All right.
And take some damage.
Poor train passengers just looking out the window.
These people are gonna. It's a bad time, probably.
You pull this move off where you hurl her over your shoulder.
Yeah.
At the train. Flying perhaps with her to make sure it gets her in the face.
Yep.
It does. You have a split second to try to get out of the way, but you don't quite manage it completely. As this thing coming in belts you It's trying to slow down. It saw there were people on the track.
Or things, who knows what.
There was something on the
There's
track.
something on the track.
It comes in screeching, this train. And as the sparks are flying up from the rails, as this thing slams into Adrienne, her face goes through the window. That's that front window that you're not supposed to be able to break. The driver inside has a look of ashen horror on his face as you ram her through this window, and you've essentially, if you'll forgive the description, half decapitate. I believe that's the term we are looking for. Then this thing slams you and is going to... It's gonna be 4 harm minus your armor.
Cool. I am
How much?
messed up. I'm alive, but incredibly messed up.
Okay. So, which I think that's down to 3 harm, right? Basically, is what it is. So you're at. So I think you might be at 4 harm right now, which means you're going to need some attention.
Yeah, I'm pretty messed up.
Okay. Thankfully, you're in demon form, which is a little helpful. But Adrienne is no more. Are you trying to hold on to the train? Well, I mean, it's going to stop. It doesn't matter. So you go.
I might not have a choice in hanging on to this train.
No.
This train is
there's a certain amount of physics going on here. Yeah. So you get knocked back. You roll and slam into the far wall. Just past a pillar onto this tiled wall for this train station, as this train screeches to a halt several meters ahead of you. It stops. There's once again, some smoke rising up. You see that from the front of the, and you can't see the front of the train from where you're lying yet, but you can see there's some steam rising up from it. So right now, those who are around here, not a huge number of people, but those who are here are a little bit in shock.
Enough.
You hear like feet running away of subway patrons and employees. What would you like to do?
Where is Adrienne right now?
Adrienne is currently suspended from the front of the train, from that front car of the train.
She's gonna get up.
A few meters ahead of you.
It's just like
ahead, you say?
I mean,
at least one.
She's gonna wince, just kind of like swears, God damn it, and just kind of like try and right herself, and like try and make her way to retrieve the the suit or what's left of this thing got hit by a train.
Okay, all right. Yep. Whilst
I'm glad I took that armor.
That was a very good move. That was a very good move on your part. So yeah, you limp your way up there. I think that I feel like this is probably going to be, as you're just trying to grab the suit and get out, I feel like this is going to be keeping your cool. So that you can kind of like just sort of get up there, get it off, and try to get, as you're limping there, wounded, smoking blood pouring from you. You can try to get this thing off of her.
Okay.
So just keep your cool.
6.
Oh, okay.
That is not good.
And so you are going to get the suit off of her. As I presume, what was it you were trying to avoid here? Basically, just so we'll be clear, you were trying.
I think she was mainly avoiding. God, I don't. She wanted the suit. She got in a fight. I don't know if she was thinking that far ahead.
Oh, sure.
The suit was right there.
Yeah. But I mean, ideally, okay. So just
ideally,
being noticed. Or?
Ideally, the suit would not be harmed.
Okay. So, couple things. The suit is, as it's sort of morphing back as you peel it off of her. It does have some of her blood, kind of congealed in it a little bit.
Not
and
surprised.
It is, it is. It actually didn't get too damaged. So it's not like the worst for wear. Maybe a couple of stitches have gone. But it looks okay. It's not looking great.
Yes.
What route are you taking to leave this place?
God, I
presume that's what you'd like to do. I don't know if you're leaving.
Yeah.
Or if you'd like
No. There's going to be some real incriminating close camera footage, security footage, and probably half these people are probably like, cell phone cameraing this shit.
Yeah, some of the people inside the train are like, we're looking out the window and we're like, a couple of them had their phones up, those with the presence of mind to do so. The rest of them are panicking and trying to pound at the doors to get out.
Just fly out the way she came is like the only.
Up through the outside.
Yeah.
Back up the stairs. Soaring. This suit bundled up in your arms. You're bleeding. Heading out. As you are heading out, you see this and hear this only briefly. There's a big billboard, an electronic billboard, above the exit that currently has an ad for Vex Anima on it.
Cool.
And as you are nearing it, static erupts on it. And you see the face of Miss Vex. And the way she appears on the billboard, she appears in a human form, but you have seen this human form before. She has she's dark aspected, sort of dark skin, and her hair pulled back and very done up sort of fashionably, very attractive. And you see her raise her eyebrow at you as you're zooming forward. And you hear this sort of echoing as you zoom underneath the billboard and out. You hear her say, "Oh dear, we have been naughty, haven't we?" And you flap up and away. But you know that Vex has seen you and knows what you did.
There was going to be no way she was going to be able to hide what she did.
Kind of cover that up.
Yeah, that's
hard to cover that up.
That's to be expected.
So I'm going to shift over for just a moment. I just want to find out if, as we're getting close to wrapping up, I think this evening's events, perhaps depending on how things extend. If they extend, I don't know. But I just want to check in on everyone else first before we find out what you're doing. I'm going to check first with Manny. You have. Did you have anything else you wanted to do that evening? Did you want to? Was there more you wanted to talk to Tom about, or was there other stuff you wanted to go over?
I think I want to ask him about his angel, but like I think other than that, she's just sort of in shock that he was just so cool about everything. Like, hey babe, sorry I'm not human. By the way, ghosts and demons and vampires and werewolves and things are real. And he's just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, it's real MVP shit right there. So I think she just wants to know a little. This angel of yours, what's all that about?
Yeah, well, it's and he will. So you're kind of so you're all you're still hanging out in your. Is it your apartment? Is that the thing? Is that?
Yeah.
Right
We're probably up above the shop in the
above
apartment.
the shop. Okay, yeah. And kind of as you're doing that, he will kind of just sort of, it'll be like, you know, yeah, no, I've heard about a few things, but I've never actually, this is the first time I've met, well, I knew that, well, this is the first time I knew anything about this, but no, there is an angel. They say they're an angel that I talk to from time to time. It's only when I go to the that spot that it's a gate, you say.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen things come out of it. Well, until today, I saw that cat go through it, but so
yeah.
I do believe that, but I do hear sometimes from when I pray and I need advice. I do hear from this angel, and I think they are. I do not know a lot about them. It's usually feels almost Socratic. Actually, they ask me questions, and
They ask you questions.
yes, about how I'm feeling and what I have to try to guide me to a conclusion, and they will give advice. But they did tell me about my friends, about Ada and Fabia and Priya being in some form of peril. They sometimes can give me hints on these things, but they don't usually. I get the feeling that they don't want to reveal too much, or there's certain things they cannot talk about. They're very tight-lipped about how things work. I've tried to ask them about it before, and they haven't been very forthcoming on that.
Well, there's a lot to unpack with all of it. So, and I've probably forgotten and learned and forgotten again more than I can ever know at this point about how all of it works, because it is just it's just a complex little, well, it's not little, it's multiple worlds worth of madness and factions and chaos and everything you could ever imagine. Just, yeah. This angel, I don't know. You knew your friends were missing. We knew they're in danger. we'll do what we can to find them. I don't know. I don't know much about angels. I know I might be able to find out more though.
Okay.
I
Now,
mean, I don't think it's dangerous, but I don't think it's, probably also not the safest. You know what I mean?
he nods. He nods. Yeah. I see. Do you know anyone? And actually, this is actually Jim. I'm not sure how much you told Tom about this in particular, so he's just going to ask this question, and we'll assume he's forgotten otherwise. Do you know anybody at Versace?
I mean, we had a meeting with someone, and we're gonna go to that event tomorrow, but
Oh, yeah.
not. I mean, not intimate. Why Versace?
Oh no, that is who was using the limo. That I saw them get into.
Hmm.
That's what I was able to. So I know a few people in transportation locally, and one of my friends sometimes does the accounts for some of the major limo companies, and so he was able to track it down.
Well, I don't know if there will be an opportunity. You know how these events go. It can be. I will try to ask my contacts.
Okay.
Gently.
I would very much appreciate it. I just want to make sure they're all right. If they've been off, just on some tour or something, then that's fine. I'd think that they would have contacted me.
That's true.
So I would have hoped, at least.
We'll figure it out. If it has anything to do with who I think it has something to do with, well, we're gonna have to be gentle.
Oh. Okay.
Not for danger, just for, the rules of the game sort of thing.
I see. Well, do you need any help?
Well, I don't know yet. We're still... There's so many things at play right now. But, see, my people are kind of, they're getting a little spooked. So, well, I suppose that's an understatement. They want me to eventually come home.
You just sort of will lean forward, sort of looking a little more concerned when you say that. So, and he does that thing kind of that people do sort of when you you become slightly more guarded, and when you hear something like that, and you sort of like, yeah, that sort of sense. You've dated enough people over the last 400 years. I'm sure you understand. You've seen this look before, or a look like it. When you sort of like, do you? So you might be going back. Do you know if? Are you going to be leaving?
I don't want to, and I have no intentions on it. I just know that they are going to do whatever they can to convince me that coming home is the answer. But this is my home. This is I haven't done this for 400 years to not get to make my own choices.
Are you in danger?
I don't think I specifically am, but I think there could be danger nearby, and I think Kai could be in danger, and
Oh.
we're learning more and more about their situation, and I feel for them so much. They are really in it.
Okay. Oh.
But I don't know. And she'll just like take his hand. I don't want to go. And I'm not going to. I don't want to.
And he will kind of squeeze your hand.
It's
yeah.
there are a lot of unknowns right now, and you're asking all the questions. You got this angel. I couldn't let you not. I couldn't pretend like there wasn't something, something more to this world, I guess.
He smiles at you, and he'll sort of take his other hand, if you permit it, and just sort of do the thing where he rubs the other side of it, of your hand, the back of your hand.
Oh yeah,
And,
she's just gonna melt like butter at this point. This is the best it's ever gone, probably.
Yeah.
But it's also, it could be hard.
And he'll do the thing where he kisses a couple of your fingers, and he'll just sort of like, I don't want you to get hurt, but I will. I've suspected a lot, and there's a lot coming, but at the same time, I just would like you to be around for longer if you could, and if there's any way I can help you, I absolutely will.
I don't know how, but if there is, I will let you know. Maybe your angel has some answers we don't know about, Maybe they know.
I can ask them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't want to put you in danger, though.
Well, I mean, I know I'm just finding out about all this, but I can't just ignore it now,
No, I know.
And I think it's even if it is a little dangerous, I think it's definitely worth it. He says, just sort of looking into your eyes and smiling. I'd like you to tell me actually, before I do that, are things moving toward getting more intimate, do you think, at this point?
Yeah, I imagine, if nothing else for her, it's just to, like, not think about the possibility of an end,
Yeah.
just make whatever moment work for what it is.
Yeah.
So I think she'll move it in that direction. If nothing else, it'll keep him busy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not thinking about the supernatural.
Awesome. So things perhaps happen. We can sort of pan over to a light or something, an overhanging light, and this will probably then, I would assume, trigger your intimacy move, if you would like.
It sure does. That seems like a big moment.
So when you share a moment of intimacy, physical or emotional, with another person, demand a promise from them. If they refuse you or break the promise, they owe you 2 debts.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he would break a promise. I think the promise she'll end up demanding of him, essentially, is that he will, if it gets too dangerous, he will take care of himself first and go.
Okay. Do you mete out parameters, or do you just sort of say too dangerous?
Yeah, I think she says too dangerous, because it could, if your life is in danger, then.
Yeah. Okay. He will begrudgingly promise you that.
I just can't make you a white knight. I can't ask you to put yourself in danger just because of all this.
Okay. I promise. All right. right.
But hey, maybe it won't be. Maybe there'll be no danger. Maybe this is all just a bunch of people ruffling some feathers and, posturing and everything will be fine and all Kai's visions are just indigestion.
Yeah.
That they're just they'll be fine.
Absolutely fine. Awesome. All right. And so I think we're gonna, if we're going to pan away as your evening progresses. I'm going to check in briefly. My understanding, but I want to check in with Kai for a moment to see if there is anything. I know you were kind of sort of committed to hanging out and downing bottles of things and perhaps sleeping, but I just want to check in and see as you're over at your apartment if there was anything else you wanted to do that evening.
Kai has made an attempt at self-care. Okay, I should probably stop drinking all this wine and I'm gonna take a shower and go to bed and all of that. And it has not worked. After half an hour to an hour of trying to fall asleep, despite the 2.5 bottles of wine that they've downed, they're wide awake and at least mostly coherent. Get up, turn the lights on, and go grab a deck. And they normally don't do readings for themselves, just because that's just it's kind of hard to separate yourself from what you're reading. So they grab a deck that they only use for themselves. It's specifically so it doesn't have anybody else's energy on it, and just sit back down in bed and shuffle and kind of have the what the fuck question asking of the universe and the cards, and maybe there's more wine because they aren't gonna sleep, but coffee's probably not a good idea at 2:00 in the morning either. So yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of okay, this revelation has happened. I am the Pythia. There's a whole bunch of people after me, apparently. What do? How? Things?
What do?
Universe,
What do
please help.
So, let me ask. Are you looking to extend supernatural senses of some kind?
Yes.
Or are you just looking for a reading?
Extensive supernatural senses of some kind. Now that they know they're the Pythia, it's okay, not wanting to test too badly because I don't want to, not knowing how any the Watchers the Warriors radar works, not wanting to send up a hi, I am here, please come find me signal, but okay, how do I, just testing this with myself, how does this work?
Gotcha.
How do I power?
How to? Go ahead then.
How does a professional oracle actually oracle?
That's right. How to oracle. So yeah, in lieu of anything else, let it out.
That's that's somebody else's roll. I got an 11.
11 is a very good roll.
Yes.
So that means you choose. You can choose one item off the list without corruption, unless you want to choose a second item from the list.
For some reason, I have 4 dot points in corruption, 4 checkboxes in corruption, and I only have 1 more to go, and I don't know why. So
Would you like that last box?
I would like that last box, yes.
Corruption.
So that means I get to take a corruption move after this, right?
That's right. You can immediately take a corruption move once you fill that in.
Oh, cool. I will look at those in a second.
Sure. So let's see. What 2 items on the list do you want?
Well, I'm gonna take the corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And I get 2 items. I'm going to extend my senses.
Mm-hmm.
And... I don't know what's vulnerable or exposed to take hold of.
Well, there might be something.
But I'd like to. I don't know what it would be, though.
Well, tell you what we can do is sort of unfold this a little bit and sort of get into visions, or what have you. And then if there's something in there that you spot, well, you could take that. If not,
or
then
if there's
could
not,
switch it
then
to
I'll just
something
take
else.
if there's not, then I'll just take the +1 forward.
Perfect.
But we'll see how this plays out. Yeah.
All right. So, so the question is, WTF universe, how to Oracle? Okay.
Now that I am officially an Oracle and not just getting paid to be one, how does this work?
It's fair. It's fair. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't need to get too crazy. We'll go to I'll just go to, oh. Yeah, I mean, you did very well. This might be an appropriate moment for this. You have a choice. As you're learning more how these visions work, you have a choice. You can, as you're starting to lay the cards out, it's not as though you can control what card's going to come next. But you can see that you can open a conduit right now. If you want to, there is, how do I put this? This is almost a sense you have. So, your choice, in much the same way as you kind of feel as though you have choice in a dream, when you could go in a direction that lets you control what's happening a little bit more, possibly, but it's a very sort of passive thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You could let a vision of some kind unfold here, or there are beings that exist, some of whom are, in fact, neutral parties, and you could try to get advice from one of them at this moment if you want. There
Option
seems
2.
to be one available. You want option 2?
Option 2. Yeah.
All right. So, you feel as though there's this thing you're rushing toward for a second, and it feels similar to when you ended up getting snatched away for a moment to show up over in Delphina Jenna's Sanctum Sanctorum.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of controlling it more this time. But you do feel and you know you're not actually physically going there. But you do feel that this is, you're descending a bit. And when you open your eyes, you feel as though you're sitting on a boat. At the head of which is standing a cowled figure. A skeletal cowled figure. And that figure turns. You can see that its face is shadowed, but it is very skeletal. It turns with its pulls its pole out of the water as it sort of pulls up. Puts it down, leans on it, cocks its head, and says, well, it's about time. And I think if we're good with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first break there. We will be back in a few minutes, folks. See you shortly. Welcome everyone to Styx Talk, the new talk show that takes place in the underworld. So, why did
Legit.
I do that? Yeah,
Because it's great.
we are
Oh
on.
man.
We come to you live, sort of, from the River Styx, as we are. As our host is Charon, and our guest today is Kai the Oracle. So obviously, you are back in the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only there in spirit. You are not actually there. And you will you'll see that that Charon, the ferryman, has turned to you. You presume it's Charon. Has
Why would I not?
why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Has turned and said it's about time. He sort of is sort of looking and says, let's see, who was I? What was I? How was I doing? Okay. I presume you had something of a bit of a test run when you came in here before, yes?
We'll call it that.
Trying out prophecies in the caverns of the underworld.
Yeah, that probably wasn't the best choice to test that out. I mean, I probably could have tested it in the normal world and not the underworld, but hey, we all make choices.
When you do such things here, they have consequences.
Yeah. The river didn't actually flood, right?
No, you left, so it did not.
Right. Okay, good. So that worked. That's good.
But let us just say that I had a bit of a surge in people wanting to get across.
Sorry.
Well, I do my duty. But I take it then. And I appreciate that you're coming to make such apology. That is not the only reason you are here.
No.
We're at a bit of a lull at the moment, so as it happens,
Okay.
I have a bit of time.
Okay.
And time here
Good.
is not quite what it is up there.
I didn't think so.
I expect you have questions. You are new, yes.
I have Actually, I'm not sure I have so many questions. I feel like I probably have about 3, but it feels like so many. Yes, I'm new. Probably a couple months new, maybe 2 hours into knowing for sure new. To my time hours. I don't know what the conversion rate is.
I follow.
For that. Okay. Why is everybody like you, the master, the Sara forgot the gate guy's name. Fey Duchess, why is everybody act like genuflecting toward me? Like, why is it such a big deal? Like, I get Pythia and the orc. There is only one of me, and I get that, but why is it that important?
And they'll just sort of look out at... You sort of see from here, you can see it's a very wide river. It's flowing pretty slowly. It is black. On one side, you can see a bank moving by. On the other side, on the other bank, you see moving by this sort of ghostly necropolis. Of what looks sort of a Romanesque architecture to an extent, but also mixed with sort of more modern architecture. It's a little bit of a mess, actually, to the naked eye. And you sort of look and you see the river flows on for quite a distance. And he just sort of gestures and he says, well, I can perhaps the easiest thing is to speak in terms of metaphor. And he gestures to the river. So if we imagine time as like a river. It is something that you say if you want to know where you're headed. It's good to be on further banks. The thing being, you can be on, in theory, as many banks forward as you like simultaneously. But the thing is, you have to be careful, because potentially, at some point, you could have the ability to divert the river.
So it's not just seeing the future, it's being able to change it because I've seen it. It's a chicken and egg thing.
Somewhat, yes, that is part of it. But
Okay.
you have... The thing is, some of your predecessors have been very good. Some of your predecessors have been very good with this ability. Others go down a decidedly darker path. And they have that ability. They can manipulate the visions. Make things happen. It's a thing that I recommend resisting. But it is your life. It is your decision. It is your choice. Some have been known to bring ruin through this ability. And that is the thing they are afraid of, because your visions work equally for human or god.
I mean, all the visions I've had have basically been ruin.
Those are the ones that grab attention, from what I understand, yes.
Yeah. So avoiding it would bring more. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not just hey, this is gonna happen and you're stuck dealing with it. I, in theory, have the ability to change it. Yeah?
Yes,
Whether I should or not is a whole other discussion.
Quite. Your predecessor was actually quite good about it. She resisted for a very long time.
But eventually didn't?
Well, and that one is a bit odd and complicated. There was magic involved there.
Oh, yeah.
And she was... well, she only came across just, in your terms, a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. That's what I
was
have
in the
heard.
midst of... Well... Actually... Yeah. I may not be able to say what she was in the midst of. It is tricky because...
Like, it's just really hard to pronounce, or...
Well, would that were the case. But... It is... it depends on how much I do not wish to be an undue influence upon you.
I mean, you can be a good influence. You don't have to be an undue influence.
Well, the path of time is not for me to decide. But... She had a vision. My understanding is she expressed, and that is which she expressed, I believe, to Hecate, and that has caused a bit of an uproar.
So she had a vision and told Hecate, and then it was the whole thing, and then okay.
Well, it's after she came across, you see.
Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense.
Yes, no, that's the order. Yes, no, she died in the midst of a vision. She was having the vision as I brought her across, but it was and
is that maybe why there's been a cat of Hecate following me around for a while?
Probably.
Questions that I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're like a genie where I only get 3. So.
3 what?
Never mind. I've had several bottles of wine tonight.
I have an eternity. You do not.
No, that has been made clear to me. How does this work? Do I read cards. It's how I make a living. So does it just happen? Like I'm walking down the street and bam, I get hit by a vision? Do I burn some incense and reach out to the universe and ask for it? How do I control this so I'm not in the middle of stuff and get blindsided by visions of chaos and ruin again?
Well, the thing with the Pythia, the Pythia's mantle is that it passes to many different people of many different cultures. It has done so since time immemorial. It is so everyone has a different approach. It becomes part of you, and you part of it. So, what works for you will not necessarily work for the next Pythia, or did not necessarily work for the previous Pythia. But my understanding is that there are foci that they find, that things that focus the mind. What focuses your mind?
Shuffling my cards. Any deck, really. It could be a deck of playing cards that's not even 52. Just something. It's the act of it.
You play poker?
Yes.
Later, perhaps. You've only so much time right now.
That would be an interesting table. I'd be later, of course, interested in seeing what that looks like.
It gets interesting sometimes, but that's it. Yeah, so if shuffling calms focuses you, then you sort of develop on that. Find a ways within that will help you.
Okay.
Different people find different things. Some I hear Tai Chi is popular up there these days. But meditation, some have done. And some will focus on items, objects, cards. There are those who have focused on cards before, I believe. It has been some time, but yes.
I'll bring it back. Make it fashionable again.
There was one who threw darts once, I believe. That was what they needed. But
that's fascinating.
Yeah. Anything that focuses you, and that is not bad for you. One of them once did it through drinking, and that was They did not last.
Oh, drinking doesn't focus me at all. It has the exact opposite
Yeah,
effect. That's why I do it.
Not most. But yes. Things that focus you, things that help you, and then you learn it. You have to learn it and work with it. It is a responsibility, but it is part of you.
Figure it out on my own is what you're saying.
The difficulty with teachers is that they're all over there. He says, pointing at the necropolis, and you do not belong in there.
No, not yet.
Not yet. There are ways. You can visit if you want to talk to one of the.
I think I've had enough at some point, maybe, but today's been eventful enough.
Yeah. You're up in Rome, aren't you? You've got.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a system worked out that.
Okay.
Should. By now have. Yeah, something's gone off with it. I actually have been having to collect physical coins recently again, and it is.
Something's gone weird with our portal, the
Yes.
gate. That's how we ended up here earlier today. So.
You know about the Titan?
Do I know about the Titan? This is Sara asking.
Well, spoken abstractly like that, I mean, you've heard of Titans, in Greek mythology and Roman mythology, but.
All right, Kai will play along with it. Like, I know about Titans. I don't know the Titan. Or about the Titan. I know generally what they are. Do they have something to do with our gate malfunction and all this other what?
Possibly. It's a problem, you see, because he wants to be. He has his own realm, and I don't wish to. Yes, this is a problem. Is he could wipe everyone out within seconds if he wanted. You think just coming down here and saying the river will overflow is something. You should see it when you can just do that.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, it's I've heard about it. You think you've heard enough. It's people have died down about it after a few years. If they go and they see the thing, and then they talk of they keep comparing you whenever they come across, and then it dies down for a decade or two, and then they go and remake it.
Yes.
Were death a problem for me, I'd say that inaccuracies would be the death of me. But
yeah, I don't suppose you have that problem.
Not well. I do. Well, in one sense, I don't. In the other
yourself,
sense,
you don't have that problem. Death in general is your problem, but you
precisely,
yourself do not have it.
Oh, yes,
so,
he wants to keep to himself, is what I am saying. So it is would be impolitic of me to talk about him. But the thing is, you maybe should know.
Okay. Great things always start with that sentence.
So I should recommend you, when you go back up there, you find out who is the Titan.
Who is a Titan or who's the Titan?
I mean, there's more than one, but up there now there's one. Well, when I say up there, where you would be heading back.
Right.
In Rome, there is a Titan. And it would probably behoove you to find out who that is.
Okay.
As let us say he is rather keyed to the situation with the gate and the the situation with the different realms.
Okay. And the Titan, he looks like a normal person. I mean, he's not
Yeah,
like
of course.
giant being. Okay, just checking. Okay. So resist the urge to do something to change the future, despite that I can see it ending in ruin. Find a focus and figure it out myself, and find out who the Titan is, and that's the advice you've got for me.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good chat. Thank you. Genuinely. Sarcasm side. I appreciate it.
Well, if you happen to stop by on an off night, then,
Yeah.
we might,
I'll make sure it's not a... Make sure it's yeah, I'd like to see what your table's made up of, not out of.
Yeah.
That too, I suppose, given.
Or the next time you find yourself in a coma on a hospital table or something, we might do it then. But that's
yeah,
you want a game that goes a while, but it depends.
Also, I'm trying to avoid coma and hospital in general for the time being. New Year's resolution and all
that's
that.
Fair. That is fair. That is fair. Yeah, one has to keep up with those.
Right. Yes. Otherwise, what's the point? So,
yes,
speaking of,
if you just give it up in February, then what have you got?
Well, I mean, you got a month of no coma, so that's better than no month of no coma.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, from what I understand, Lent is coming. Or if you want at some point, so you probably do it then if you subscribe to that. I don't know if you do or not.
No.
Ah, well, that's good. For me, anyway.
I gave up homework for Lent one year. This is why I'm not in school anymore. So, appreciate the help. I'm going to go to bed now, for real, this time, I think. Or at least stare at the ceiling and contemplate Titans and focusing and not changing the future. Appreciate your time, Charon. Good luck with all the dead.
He will nod to you. Good luck with all the living.
Thank you.
And you will find yourself drawn back.
And at this point, Kai will pack up their cards and actually go to sleep.
Excellent. Well, let us now head to the to the beautiful Roman skyline. As we see a bleeding winged figure haphazardly making its way. What do you want to do? Where would you like to go, Mallory? You might want to unmute.
Honestly, Mallory's messed up. Like, real messed up. She got hit by a train. She needs to get looked at, I think. Faster, because it's like she is probably taking everything she can just to like stay mobile at this moment. So it's gonna try and figure out where she can go to kind of get patched up.
Okay.
So is that a hit the streets sort of thing?
Quite possibly, yeah. Do you have a? Let me just check something here.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have someone sort of a general? Do you have a faction in mind from which the type of patching up you want done?
Let's go with Night.
Night.
She's familiar.
Okay. So, someone in the Night faction. So this could be like a vampire, a werewolf, a revenant, a ghost. Someone who would have the ability to help you heal, perhaps in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not directly magical, perhaps, but things they can maybe, or maybe they're just a doctor and also something else.
Yeah. She's mostly looking for someone that will not be thrown off. Someone that's familiar with this sort of thing, but also is,
Okay.
off the books sort of situation.
Let us see. So, two ideas come to mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
One is you can try to find. You could potentially say go to Virgil, and Virgil might be able to get somebody for you, or we could go for there's a werewolf doctor, maybe something along those lines that you might be able to getting in touch with.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get in. Let's get in with
Sure.
some.
And that also would give the added bonus of you might be able to make your delivery as well.
I am delivered. I'm also heard.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so hit the streets with night, please.
All right.
And then you get to mark night if you don't have it marked already.
Yeah. Hit the streets.
Okay.
You know what the weird thing about tonight is? I have only rolled 6s. There's been nothing but solid 6s down the...
Well, you still get to mark night, thankfully,
Yeah.
even though you failed.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I know what's going to happen.
Cool.
So you're flapping your way. You know that they hang out. You know that there are going to be a bunch of these werewolves over on Capitoline Hill. Let's say that you have, and one of them is a doctor. Let me. I'll grab a name shortly. For somebody. They are, and that they're one of the, one of the werewolves, and that they're gathering, on the, they should be gathering on the Capitoline. So you'd think, okay, he's probably going to be there too, since he's not, maybe you have his card, maybe you don't. It's like he's not answering his cell, and so you are trying to get there, flying over the city. You can see the Colosseum, and you basically need to land not too far from there. The Capitoline Hill is very close. There is a sort of a series of steps up between two statues. There are a lot of statues all over Rome, obviously. That one will see. A lot of them in that area done by Michelangelo. I believe the ones I'm thinking of currently were meant to be of Romulus and Remus, maybe? Just as, oh no, it's Castor and Pollux. It's Castor and Pollux. Those are the ones that are there. Two statues, and you're gonna kind of come inside of that, but you're having trouble staying aloft. One of your wings is kind of damaged, and you end up sort of tumbling and falling a bit short. You get a headwind pulls you back, and you tumble down into the water near the Colosseum. And you're kind of... I presume you're going to try to get to the bank. It's not going to be too tough for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you staying in demon form while you do this?
It's
up to you.
I think with that I think
not a lot
that,
of people out, so I mean it's up to you.
I think once that last bit kind of, I think her ability to keep that form kind of like dissipates a little bit.
Okay.
Like it probably took her whatever, like she's probably losing a little bit of blood, a little bit of concentration to like, keep that up, and I think she just doesn't have the energy. So
yeah, okay. So I think as you're kind of sort of transforming back and you're kind of clawing your way up onto the bank, and it's sort of like you're having a little trouble clambering up onto the side, onto the sort of by the canal, sort of that's you're trying to get up in, and you're like, and you feel a hand reach down to give you a hand up, basically, to grab your hand and pull you up. And as you come up, there's this figure standing there, sort of the moon up behind, just directly above, sort of up behind, sort of in the moonlight. So you can kind of see a silhouette that you recognize, and as he looks down at you and says, "Well, at least you washed it for me." As he sort of pulls you up onto the bank, and you're sort of lying there for a second, and Mr. Sharp leans down. He's wearing his sort of charcoal suit. Tough night. It's midnight, by the way.
Yeah.
Just about time. You're trying to inform me, but I figured your phone might have a little trouble working in the water.
Yeah, it probably also got like a little when the train. She's like, God.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. he actually takes out a phone. He pulls a phone out and he's sort of flipping through it. Yeah. A lot of folks are. You're doing quite. You're doing quite well here. This one isn't even all that blurry. He says, just sort of showing some Instagram photos of you.
Well, I got the damn thing. Jeez.
One of the.
When people say they got hit by a train, they.
Mm-hmm.
God, they undersell it quite a bit. Shit.
Yeah, that looks like that hurts a lot. Yeah, definitely. What am I going to do with you? Mallory. I mean, you did half the job, so that's something. That's not nothing. It's nothing plus 1/2, So,
I could
0.5
still find the
jobs.
other suit.
That's what you do.
Job's not done.
Yeah. You do need to find that other suit. That's important. News will kind of sort of look, and he'll kind of reach down and gently sort of take the suit you're clutching from you, if you'll permit it.
Yeah, I think she.
He sort of like looks at it, sort of shakes, and he's like, yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's hard to get acid out of these. Demonic blood is, this is supposed to take demonic blood, so it'll be fine eventually, I think. But, not quite as great as I would like it. I am going to have to talk to some rather particular dry cleaners. But at least I got something for tomorrow night. Well, tonight now. Okay. Yeah. So. You want more time to get the other one, I presume.
Yeah. Think that's obvious. Oh.
Okay. You know
To my
who has it?
benefit, to my benefit, I did get rid of one of Miss Bex's assistants.
Yes.
Nailed to the front of a train. So I think that gives me something.
That is
And I
true.
do know who has the other one. I was intending on giving him a visit once got patched up.
I think that. Let me see here. Okay. Like. So who has the other one?
Goddamn wizard. Voltaire.
Voltaire. Okay. Well, at least he's for sale, relatively. That's something. That's something. That's something we can work with. So, I'm trying to decide if I want to have you persuade an NPC here. This in case would be through promises, basically. And so, yeah, I think because I kind of need to, I need to see sort of how much he's going to lean on you here. So I think if you would go ahead and persuade an NPC.
Okay.
You're going to basically be doing this. Catching him.
Okay. Oh, come on. You need these suits.
Yep. Rolling with heart.
Alright, come on. There we go.
8. Okay. Alright. They modify the terms or demand a debt. So we'll say, okay. So you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give you some time, but something I need you to do. Little extra task.
Great.
Help me out. So I'm going to a little soiree tonight. Now, well, in about
got the hint.
Hours. Yeah, and you're going to be my +1 to this soiree.
Oh.
And there is someone I am going to need you to keep an eye on. Someone who is to deliver an item to me.
Good, look out. So who is it?
And ensure that she does. Now, her name is Julissa Pavia. She is friend of ours of the fanged variety.
Oh.
Do you want to do name to a face?
Yeah.
Okay. That is rolling with night.
I think. Where is it? There it is. 9.
Okay. Alright, so you get to mark night if you have not already. And, based on name, On a hit, you know their reputation, and I can tell you what most people know about them. Okay. So in the supernatural community, Jalissa is she is a vampire. She has been around for like close to a couple hundred years. She's a younger vampire. She is very much sort of in media. She's been working in that for quite some time. She was actually in some of the early talkies that were made in Italy, and some of the ones from around here. She has some interest in Cinecita Studios, so very much does a lot of work to keep vampires out of the spotlight. Media manipulator. Very much in that world. This is also, for those of you who are keeping track, this is one of the characters we created during Session 0.
Yeah.
And who had previously was friends with Serena. Very, very good friends.
Good friends.
Yeah. Sometimes Jalissa is known to take on people as blood dolls.
Mm-hmm. That's probably where. Yep.
And so that's who Jalissa is. So you know of Jalissa. You might know her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, she's freaking gorgeous. But she does has sort of the aura of it. Most of the vampires of the line that exist in this city are very much about having this aura of attraction. They're very much on that side of the vampiric scale.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he tells you that you've got to just... Jalissa has an item, Sharp says, that she's agreed to give me. So you're going to make sure that she does, because she has a few little issues right now with kind of figuring out her place in things, I think. So she could lean in a few different directions this way, and we just want to make sure that she gets this thing to me.
Of course.
She should have it by tomorrow. Provided, he says, kind of looking down as you kind of, I think, had if you had sort of had put your, I think, I'm imagining maybe some of like a coat or whatever garment you have that you carry things. What do you carry things in?
She has a leather coat.
Leather coat. So the portion of your coat that's sort of lying on the bank, he kind of says, well, she should have it tomorrow night, provided you get what I believe is your delivery done, yes? And he kind of kicks at the place, and you hear this little thunk where he's kicking the side of the wooden box in your pocket. So, best you go and do that soon. Unless you'd like to just sort of lie there bleeding some more. I mean, we could always hang out and do some more bleeding if you're really into that right now.
The bleeding part
you should probably
is
stop
unpleasant.
bleeding.
The hanging out part, I'd rather die.
Well, I mean... it'd be so much less useful to me if you died right now. I mean, I could still use you for something. But,
yeah, and if you want me to be functional for this function,
yeah. Fair.
Can't really do a good job if I'm on crutches or limping around.
Yeah, I can see that. I can very much see that. Okay.
Plus, it's not good for appearances. Oh, God.
No, and I mean, besides, we're gonna be, we're gonna need to get you, need to get you something, Yeah. Make sure you've got you still got one of the dresses I got you, or do we need another one at this point?
No,
it's been a while.
No, I still have that one.
Okay, no, that one will be fine. He shrugs. And I will say, probably Sharp doesn't necessarily. He dresses you up to look good. He doesn't necessarily dress you up to. He doesn't usually get you anything too revealing. It's mostly just stuff that's only revealing in the sense that it allows you to move more freely.
Mm-hmm.
If it just so that there's not so much cloth that you cannot punch someone in the face if you need to.
Yeah.
So. He understands it needs to look good, but also be practical. So
hey, it's like the type of thing you put on a good enforcer to look
exactly
fit in. Yeah, it's
so often
it looks nice looking, but it's like it's not dressy. Plus,
yeah, totally. Yeah, so it's rare that it'll be like an actual dress. The dresses that you do have usually they're very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually it'll be some kind of a thing that looks kind of like a cocktail dress, but actually it's more pants legs or something, that kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can detail that later. So he'll nod and he'll say, right, well, so I suppose you could get some help from someone up on the hill, or if you like, I could just stop the bleeding now. Would you like me to stop the bleeding now?
And what would that cost? I'm not.
Oh, it wouldn't cost you anything. It just would amuse me.
I'll take my chances up there.
All right. And actually, you sort of get a sense of what he's talking about because as he just sort of kind of raises his hand when he says that, and you see it starting to glow a little bit. So you're thinking he's talking about, cauterizing you.
Yeah.
Which he could totally do, and that would stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
He says, all right, well then, probably going to want to wrap that up in something. He kind of glances over and he sees there's like this cloth banner that's hanging off a metal, part of metal fencing that's keeps this part of this canal away from everything else. He goes over, he reaches over and just casually rips it away and tosses it to you. He says, "There, that ought to help bind things up for a few minutes. You can get a little help."
That does the job. Ah.
Right. Yeah. We're probably going to want to do something about this, and he says he's got his phone back out and he's looking, we're going to want to do something about about this whole thing. But seeing as how the foremost person to remove this kind of thing for hire has just been eliminated, thank you. I guess I'm just going to have to go to somebody else, but luckily I've got somebody. We'll see what we can do. In the meantime, have a good night. And he vanishes in a burst of flame.
Flip him off.
And let me just see here. We are a bit over the 2 hours in. Do we want to do a second break, or do we want to roll through? I'm good either way.
There we go. I can use a break for a few minutes.
All right. Let's go ahead and take another quick
that.
break. And we will be back shortly. See you soon. we have returned. And we shall find ourselves once more as we're sort of panning away from the Colosseum, and we see a figure struggling her way up the steps to the Capitoline Hill in the dead of night. There are a few people around because, big city, but this part of Rome, the old Rome is generally, a lot of it is closed. The sites are closed at night. But that part of town, and actually I got pictures, what I can show a little bit. The Capitoline Hill Museum kind of stands above a lot of that, sort of atop the hill. And I will display that now for folks. There. As you can see, it is they have this building with a clock tower that rises up, and you see that sort of past this, now going between those statues of Castor and Pollux. And as you head up that way, you're eventually going to come to Campidoglio Square, which is where you're supposed to meet the werewolves. And Campidoglio Square is that one there. More statues, but then the big one in the center, fellow on a horse. It's kind of an idea, and that's sort of the view from with the museum at your back is kind of what that looks like during the day. You're seeing there. And generally, you've got the museum obviously is closed right now, but you have some stragglers, folks who hang out. This area is open.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few little paths coming away from it. And you will see hanging out there in front. Sort of by that horse statue. A couple of folks just sort of sitting there. Looks like they're sort of tossing cards into a hat, taking turns doing that. And that is what you see as you head up the steps.
Mallory's gonna kind of just stay as in the shadows as possible, because right now she has a banner tied to her, like keep her from bleeding, and right now she's just kind of maybe hugging the wall a little bit, and she wants to look for her contact.
All right.
Is there anyone here, or anyone that she would be familiar with that could take her?
Okay. Right now you're sort of get up there and you look around, and it looks pretty peaceful. You don't see too many folks. It's pretty quiet. The lamps are on, so you can see it, and there are shadows by either of those two buildings there, where you can't really see quite so much. And you kind of get the feeling that these two folks that are, actually, yes. Well, there's something up, obviously, with 2 folks. I've said that. But this might be an opportunity to investigate a place of power.
All right.
And if you want to do that, and that is night. That is night
All right.
direction.
Cool.
Which you would mark if you don't. I think you actually just marked night. Not
I am. I've had a bunch of night.
What do you have left
Makes
to?
sense.
What do you have left to mark?
Wild.
Okay. All right.
They'll come in at some point. I imagine. I'm not.
All right. I'm sure you marked wild. We
I marked wild like last. I did.
Oh, have you did you advance already?
I did advance.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
right.
this is next go around wild, and that'll happen. I don't doubt it.
Okay.
Investigate a place of power at night.
Yep.
7.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. So let's see. On 10 plus, you ask the MC 1 question about the schemes of politics. We don't have that. But on a hit, you see below the surface to the reality underneath. Okay. So what you see is that these 2 folks that are sitting there are the scouts. It's kind of the setup here. And the rest of their pack, or a number of members of their pack, are probably right around here somewhere. Perhaps watching, waiting for the scouts to give a signal that it's okay.
I think she'll kind of stagger to their table.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, they're sitting on the ground, but they've got like a little box sort of.
Oh yeah,
set
little
up.
box.
They've got the cards and stuff in there. Like they kind of. Yeah.
Got a delivery.
Moving forward. And this is basically it's this couple sitting there. It's a couple of guys sitting there, and one of them looks up, sort of sniffing, and like, "My delivery?
That's why I'm here.
Delivery for who?"
From. Oh shoot! Dang it! My sheet.
Oh, are you looking for Mia Vargas? Was that the name you're looking for?
Yes.
So do you tell them that name? Is that
V. I was just for V. I don't think she ever uses like full names.
Yeah.
I think she just like either just like letters or something like that.
yeah. V M M
After
V.
V.
Nods. Right. Sort of leans forward. You okay? You've been in a fight, yeah?
That obvious.
There's blood on the wind.
Lot of it. Also came for that. Get patched up. Figure 2 for 1.
Nods. Well,
Middle of a job. You know how it is.
Sort of nods. Yeah, we can. For that you got to talk, but you know. And he does that thing I can't do, where he finger whistles. So he puts his fingers in his mouth, and you I can't do it even normally.
I can't do it.
And it's like I got to work up to it. And melting out of the shadows are a few people. See this small group of folks stepping out, and not very. They don't come out very far. They just come up to sort of the lamppost, and you recognize You recognize Diana. And she will nod to you and kind of do this sort of indicating you should come over there.
She'll walk that way.
So you head over, and you are now in the shadow of the museum. And here's a group of, right now, it's about... Right here, there are about, 4 or 5 of them. And Diana, and then a sort of a big, broad-shouldered gentleman who is with her. And he will so she will sort of look over at him, and he will nod. And as he was sitting by against the museum, and he stands up. He kind of adjusts his shoulders and steps forward. And he's got long, sort of flowing, sort of golden brown hair that he wears loose. And he's got a beard. And he says, "You got the stuff?"
Wouldn't be here if I didn't. She'll kind of pat the area of the coat where she hasn't.
And and he nods. I see.
Sure. She'll reach in and hold it over and hold it to him.
Okay. He will reach forward and he will open the box to look inside. And do you look in?
No, I think it's part of her thing that you give him the thing.
There are a bunch of you heard a bunch of little hard things rattling around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. He nods. He's like, And he sort of looks over at Diana. Diana will look over and nod.
Thing good?
We are very good. Thank you. And before taking the box from you, he will call over his shoulder. Tell Victor to send to the account. So he's got an account number for you, yeah?
Of course.
He nods, and he nods to one of his underlings over there, and they immediately start texting. Should get it in a minute. If you want to, you get it in a couple of minutes if you want to stick around until it's in there. He says as he's taking the box from you. Being a little worse for the wear there.
A little bit. Was wondering if you had anybody that could take a look at this on the job.
And
fine as well.
He shrugs and will I don't feel as though I'm gonna I don't feel as though this situation calls for a roll of any kind. This is just mostly okay. Because that's a separate transaction. So he will look over at Diana, and Is Dino around? And she says, she nods. I think so. She gets her phone out. And says, "You got a sec? Can you come over? Come over to the hill? You on the hill? You want to come on over? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay." She nods. And she says, and she kind of sort of gestures to a sort of an area where they're gonna want you to sort of walk around to the side of the building, and there's some there'll probably be like a public bathroom somewhere nearby that they're going to cause to be open, and and go in to wait for the doctor to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So you head around, and a couple of them are still hanging with you. You'll see that the gentleman you just spoke with, this is a named person. So if you want, you can do face to a name, but I know you've already got Knight, but that's up to you.
I mean, sure, why not? Let's.
We've established, I think you already know the doctor, so we won't be doing it with them. But this is the leader, so I guess you can do that if you like. You can roll with Knight.
8.
8, okay. Yeah, this is what most people know about them. So this large gentleman that you've just traded the relics to, is Galerius Conti. He is the current leader, the heir to the heir to Romulus, as sort of the title. And ever since he took the leadership role of the pack of Via Lupus, he has been very much driving a policy to get the Vatican out of their lives. But apparently there's been some movement recently where they've really been ramping it up, and that was the protest was all part of that. There's been something in the air, something's going on with it, but it's hard to say what it is. You will overhear him as he takes the box, and he's going to hand it to somebody. Probably the same underling that just called the doctor. You will hear him say, let me see here, where is it? Are you listening to what he is saying? I think is the question.
I mean, sure.
Okay. Very faintly you can hear him say to his underling. You can't hear everything he says.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear him say something about conciliazione. And he says, "Get it over there. Distribute these. We go in an hour." And the person takes the box. And actually, you saw him take a couple of the objects out of the box. From what you can see, they're rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They're these rocks, little stones. There are like a bunch of them in there. And kind of he takes a couple and you think he handed one to Diana. And a few of the rest of them here are kind of getting some, and then this runner goes and he's scampering off to take the rest of them somewhere.
Locals trouble? So just kind of call out.
He says, let's see, how much is he gonna say?
Because I think she wouldn't say anything other than the fact that, like, if this was secret stuff, they wouldn't say it within earshot of someone.
And he says, there's maybe about to be some.
Cross the river, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't go over there for a bit if you want to avoid a fight.
Much as I love to, I'm not really in the States, dude. So.
He nods. He's kind of, because he's kind of leaning against the wall. Since you've engaged him in conversation, he's actually leaning against sort of in the doorway now instead of heading off for a second. He's got a minute or two. He says, looks like you ran into a tough customer.
A little bit of business work. You see, she'll just you see any shady hunter types around?
He kind of chuckles at that, and you see one or two others of the werewolves. They're obviously werewolves. One or two others of these people kind of chuckling a little bit too. He says, let's just say tonight that's a good thing. Yeah, there's clearly something going on that they're
Just checking. I've been seeing few too many of them to welcome. Not necessarily, Vatican types, but seeing a lot of people sleeping around lately.
He nods. And He and a few of the others here are going to kind of be chatting a little bit, and you sort of over the next few minutes you're going to get the sense that there's something going on with hunters, and there's like and like over across the river. So you think they're talking mostly about the Vatican hunters, but I think there is the possibility of learning more here. So I think I'm gonna once again bend the rules to my whim, and I think what we're gonna ask for here is there are a couple of different ways we can go with this. Couple different ways you could angle at this. So one would be figure someone out. If you want to just sort of read their body language, and then they're being kind of cagey. Another would actually be if we wanted to go with it. This would be hit the streets, even though you're not going anywhere. But I feel like this is for information about the other hunters, and we can see how much they, in this moment, know and are willing to share.
Okay.
So it could be one of those two things. Which one do you think you'd want to go with? If you figure someone out, you'd be rolling with Mind. If you hit the streets, you'd be rolling, in this case, with Mortality, because it's about the hunters.
All right. Let's do. Why don't we do hit the streets with morality? Let's see where that goes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oof. No.
No.
Ooh.
So, I think what happens is when you sort of kind of in there, they fall silent for a moment. When you sort of talk about these other hunters for a second, and they sort of teasing, they're like, you don't want to get involved with them. Best if you pretend you never saw them if you see them. They got one target. They deal with that target, that's it. Yeah, let me actually look at this little note that I wrote myself several weeks ago. Yeah, this is, yeah. We don't, yeah, okay. This is best not to look into things that, let's just say, to dig too deeply there would very much not be welcome.
All right.
Sort of, and you get this sort of hint. Even one of them, even sort of leaning against the wall, is that little low gruttle sort of building up. They're not even opening there. It's very low.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little tension in the room now.
And she'll kind of just raise her hands like, all right. Just saw a few of them. Got enough shit on my own to deal with, so.
You nod.
Advice noted.
And they just sort of are looking at each other. And it's like, yeah. And they glance over, and sort of is, Dino's here, and he gets up. He's like, and he will look at the rest of them. You gotta be scarce. And they look at each other. We gotta move. And you see, Dr. Dino Bartolome come in. I should really write that down. That would be good. Wouldn't it be? It would be. Krux is, this is someone you have seen before. You have encountered before. Maybe he sometimes patches you up for a fee.
Mm-hmm.
He will come in. You will see Galerius will just sort of grab his arm and says, 10 minutes, no more. And he'll nod. And he'll be like, okay, I got it. And they will nod, and the rest of the pack is going to basically almost vanish there as they as they dash out pretty quickly. And you are left there with Dr. Bartolome, who will sort of look at you and sort of like, he's sort of an older gentleman, wears glasses. And he's like, looks like they got you pretty good, huh?
Not as good as I gave them. Thanks. No, you're gonna be busy. It looks like you're gonna be busy tonight. So.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he's getting stuff out, and he's starting to work on you pretty quickly, and he goes pretty fast. And he will patch you up. Over the course of that, is there anything you want to do in particular? Try to ask him about, converse with him, or do you just sort of stick to small talk?
I think she's gonna just see what she gets. Like, any idea what the hell that is? That was like she'll point in the direction that like they left. Hell, that was about.
He sort of smiles. He's like, "No, we got an operation. It's very hush hush."
Yeah, well, I have no love for well, the god people. So, I just want to know if I should watch out for anything happening on my side.
Sort of looks at you, his eyes twinkling for a moment. I feel as though you're trying to persuade an NPC.
Yeah.
This feels like more like there's more promises, I think, than seduction or threats. It's kind of the feeling I'm getting here.
Yeah.
So if you want to go with that, then you'll roll that, basically rolling with heart to see what he might tell you.
Come on.
Okay.
7.
So 7 to 9. They modify the terms or demand a debt. Okay. He says, well, it's rough, you see. It's rough, you see. It's,
Usually is.
As we gotta... It's, what's going down is pretty big, so, you gotta be careful how much gets talked about. And he says... Let me see here.
You know me, stuff needs to stay quiet, stuff stays quiet. Not good career if you keep blabbing to everybody what you're doing.
He nods. Yeah. Alright. Okay. I can't tell you everything. But
Didn't ask for everything.
I can, that we're doing, but I can tell you a little bit. But might ask for a little help on something. If I gotta tell you right now, these kids, they're running out. He's not like his father. I can tell you that. So things might head south on this, and we might let. There's a dingus. What do they say? MacGuffin. They're going after. But it falls into the wrong hands. That's gonna be a problem for us. So let's just say you might ask for a favor later if things head south, as I think they might with this group. You good with that?
I mean, it's always good to be on good terms with people who do a good job patching up. So,
All right.
and
Indeed.
if it's that big, we'd definitely like to know about it. You know, in case they come. They always like coming this way when things go south on that end.
Yeah.
Always the first people to that they think did shit, you know?
Of course. All right, well then. Yeah, they're heading out to Via della Conciliazione, which is, that street. It's actually a pretty famous street. It runs between the Basilica, St. Peter's Basilica, and Castel Sant'Angelo. Which, of course, Castel Sant'Angelo being right next to the Bridge of Angels. They're gonna run out and make a racket, and they're gonna pull the Angels. It's a distraction.
While they nab the thing.
See, yeah, because they're gonna hit. He just sort of leans forward. See. I happen to know there's some mighty fine. Recently, let's say, Kind of had through some intelligence, there's some mighty fine things the Vatican keeps locked up beneath San Angelo. And they're gonna hit it tonight. They got their ways in and out. And let's just say, once we get a hold of that, the balance of power in this city is gonna shift real fast. Provided they don't fuck it up. And I think that actually is a good line to end on there.
Cool.
At that revelation. I think that it's safe to say the rest of the night's probably going to end up passing fairly uneventfully. He's going to patch you up, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
And so, likely next time, when we pick up, we will make it to the next day!
Woo! This night, this
This day has gone on for so many sessions.
Yeah. This is more or less probably for Mallory not incredibly unusual.
No, probably not. So we have once again come to the end of our session. And we shall now go around and do our outros. Feel free to plug whatever you like, tell folks where they can find you, and give any final thoughts you have about this session, favorite moments, or what have you. And we shall start once again with Sara.
Hi, I'm Sara. She, they. I just finished playing Kai, who has finally had an end to this extremely strange day of theirs. Many things have happened. You can find me on the internets. I think I've got everywhere changed now that I'm Sara of Swords everywhere, I think. I may be missing like some random like MySpace account or something, but that's fine. So I don't think I ever actually had MySpace, but that's where you can find me. I don't have anything to plug because this is the one thing I'm doing right now. So you can come follow me on Twitter where I scream about random stuff. Or you can find me here. Sorry, that was my phone saying like, you need to go to bed soon. Be an adult, go to bed. Unlike Kai, who like drank 3 bottles of wine and had a chat with the ferryman and then went to bed. I like the session. I like it when we're all together, but I also like getting the glimpses of each person kind of doing their own thing and kind of advancing their own individual storylines. I loved the demon fight by the train. That was just chef's kiss, beautiful. I could see every moment of that. And Tom being super understanding boyfriend of like, okay, that's cool. And again, getting to chat with the ferryman, getting to chair on a meet like, so okay, what's up? That's kind of a cool relationship there. So very much looking forward to the next day. And because a lot of things I believe are supposed to be happening on the next day, besides the Versace show, I think there's a lot of stuff happening. So that'll be exciting. That's it.
Awesome. Excellent. And now we will head over to Lynn.
Hey. Oh god, this was a lot of fun. Being able to see what everybody does, like kind of split up as we probably reconverge at this party, and God, hell's probably gonna break loose. There's so many things. I like kind of just trying to like figure out what the hell is going on, talking to the ferryman again, and it's like everything is disconcerting. I'll just say that there's nothing covering about any of all this. But yeah, this has been this is so much fun. But I can't wait for this. Like finally, the next day, and we'll get maybe dressed up. Who knows? We'll see. I have to be my shitty boss's +1. That sucks.
Yep. But the plus side of that is you don't have to get in on anyone else's invitation.
So that's a hefty, like, that's a minor plus side of the kind of field. But yeah, I'm Lynn, flying Sirius pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch. Catch me tomorrow on Fellow Black Cats, where we're playing the spy game, 5e game, where we're on a three-way standoff, of course, in one of those things where like there are multiple people with guns pointing at their heads. We're gonna be probably like doing some negotiating and stuff chaos is probably gonna happen. Something's gonna explode, I'm pretty sure. And on Saturday, you'll catch me on 1 p.m. for Scion, where our little godlings are going to the next step. My fox girl had trials where she had to put a giant carp to sleep, and it was really weird. So
A giant carp?
Catch me. Yeah, it's like, yes, you must have fifth trial. Put this like gargantuan carp to sleep. Like, why not? Sure.
That's awesome. Oh, very cool. Yes, no, Mallory was very busy tonight.
This is what her nights are. This is why she subsists on like any sort of like caffeine, anything that can keep her up as well. This is just what she does.
Yeah, tell me about it. So much going on. I am gonna have to look up the healing rules again. I believe you're gonna be probably have at least some healing happen between now and tomorrow. But we will we'll look over the edge of that bridge when we come to it. But finally, let us head over to Alyssa.
Hi! I will start with the boring stuff. So hi, I'm Alyssa or Slamilton. I'm around and lurking. This is the only place I am for now because we are between seasons for Romance of the Blue Rose. We just had the finale on Sunday. There was a lot of really great moments. If you get bored and want to watch a VOD and watch us fight some Skull Knights, it's pretty worth it. I am just such a big fan of the train fight. Oh, hi, Daisy. And I can't get over it. Just the train fight just killed me. And Kai finally getting some rest. Just... And also, again, understanding boyfriend. Where is a Tom in real life when you need him? You just need somebody to be like, hey, this is my whole thing. And they're just like, okay, cool. I get it. We love to see it. Jim, have you muted yourself?
Oh
have
no!
You...
Oh no! Dang it!
Have you put yourself into the quiet space?
I have put myself into the quiet space. It is very lonely there. No, it's absolutely, yeah. No, it's always nice to have have the understanding boyfriend when available. And he seems to be into all this stuff, at least somewhat. So that's good. That's
It
good.
works.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of very interesting things going on now, and I cannot wait to see what happens when we shake all of these things up and unleash them at a Versace party. It'll be a delight. And I am curious to see what happens between now and the party, because it's largely, as always, going to depend on what you folks do and what you want to look into. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We are careening towards our end, and we shall see what happens. I'm very happy that I got a few I got a few check marks on. I got to not only did I get to play Charon for a little while, but I also got to play a Surly Doctor, which is great, and then I got to I got to smash a train into a demon, so that's fun as well. So that's a very fun night for me. But who am I? I don't know. But tonight I'll say that I'm Jim. I am OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is justthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and various other things. So right now on this channel, this is the only thing that's happening in the RPG realm. So on Tuesday nights we do this, and we're gonna go again just with these folks until the end. That's it. So we're We're getting there. We're getting there. I am also appearing on a podcast that is releasing new episodes that is getting closer to its end. And the podcast is Tabletop Garden. The campaign is The Great Molasses Flood. And that is a game being played using Rosette Diceless, which we've played on this channel before. And it's about the Great Molasses Flood of 1919 in Boston, when a tank full of molasses ruptured and sort of the docks district was in deluge. It was a very, very horrible time. And there's some weird elements involved there as well. So if you're interested in that, check that out. That's at tabletop.garden. Coming up in mid-May, we've determined. It's going to be roughly mid-May. We have a new campaign that's going to be happening here, and that is going to be Scum and Villainy. Brian will be coming back to run it. We are assembling our stuff together now, figuring out characters. There may be someone that you can see on your screen even now who may also be participating in said thing. Perhaps.
Spoiler alert, it's me.
So we'll be saying that again as we get to play that. I'm excited to get into that because Brian ran a one-shot of that on this channel a while back, and it's going to be neat to see what that's like even in a short campaign, and there'll be maybe room for roleplay and what have you, and so very, very keen to do that. So that'll be in a few weeks. But that is all we have currently happening. More stuff will be happening soon. There may be some more sign-ups happening soon for one-shots, if I can start to figure out when I want to do those. It's either going to be May or June, depending on something else that I'm trying to figure out schedule-wise, so we'll see what happens there. But that'll be coming up soon as well, so that'll hopefully be good. In the meantime, though, when we go out here, we're going to send a raid over to somebody. There are several channels streaming right now, and so we're going to... Pinnacle is streaming right now. There is the Fey Realm is streaming right now, directly from the Fey Realm to the physical world. Apparently, is happening.
It happens from time to time.
See, Penny Tale is up. Make Believe Live. There are a bunch of channels right now that are open. That I'm going to make a split-second decision in a moment to figure out which one we go and say hi to. But it may be one of the ones I mentioned, or one of the. Or one of these others that I'm staring at currently. RPG Academy is open. We haven't seen them in a while. And also Lindy's streaming. So one of those probably. But if you're so inclined, feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. That will be, again, when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.
Bye.